Hi, welcome to our channel. For today's video, we are going to recap a fantasy romance film called The Shape of Water from year 2017. The plot revolves around a mute woman who falls in love with an amphibious creature held at a top-secret government facility. Have you seen this movie yet? If not, grab some popcorn and enjoy. In the beginning of the movie, a man's voice is heard as he narrates the tale of a princess, the person she loved, and the monster that threatened to rip them apart. We are then introduced to Eliza Esposito, a quiet single woman who frequently hangs out with her middle-aged homosexual neighbor Giles, who lives in a modest room above a neighborhood theater. Together with her friend Zelda Fuller, she works as a caretaker at the Occam Aerospace Research Center. Back when she was younger, she lost her voice due to an unknown disease. Eliza was lonely for a long time. She would start her day by preparing a breakfast of hard-boiled eggs. After that comes a relaxing bath. It's a simple life that she is grateful for. Eliza rubs at her boots. She prepares a really good breakfast. Before leaving, she visits the downstairs residence Giles. She has no other companions but him. Together, they watch TV and conversed. The dance moves on TV captivate Eliza, who has great love for dancing. Even when she's not in the house, she can't help but think about dancing. Eliza passes the window every day and longs for the red dance shoes. However, she never purchased them. All she did was work to stay alive. Eliza is a maintenance employer at a facility owned by the government. Together with Zelda, they make sure that everything is as it should be. Every day, Zelda assisted her in checking in and standing in queue. She made Eliza's life a little less boring by chatting to her behind her desk as she worked. The lab was alerted of the arrival of a fresh experiment on this particular day. They bring a vessel inside the site every night that contains precious cargo. As Eliza approaches the vessel, an object from inside knocks against it. Eliza took a step forward and 3 steps back. At that moment, she felt something that truly attracted her for the first time. Eliza's life continued as usual after that day, albeit with a tinge of expectation from the strange thing inside the cargo. The lab's chief of security came in to use the lavatory that day when they were cleaning the toilets. Blood is splattered across the sink that is reported to be from a monster attack on the head of a security officer that same day. He fled with blood all over him. Zelda and Eliza were tasked with cleaning the lab. As she cleaned, Eliza discovered 2 severed fingers. Running outside, Zelda called the supervisor. Just then, Eliza gets pulled inside the container. Inside this container was the monster. When she reaches out, the thing extends its hand towards her. Zelda and the others entered just as Eliza was attempting to continue talking. Later on, Eliza frequently managed to get glimpses of the creature in the laboratory. The creature was now trapped in the wash basin next to it after emerging from the container. The following morning, Eliza goes to work the same as usual with an egg breakfast. With a curious glance at Eliza, the monster stuck its head above the water. He got up to get a share of Eliza's egg. Eliza suddenly brushed aside the monster as he was about to grab it. She moves the egg to the edge of the wash basin so that the monster could grab it with care. The monster took a time to pause before taking the eggs and plunging back into its home. Eliza feels happy about this and leaves afterwards. The monster emerged from the sea again after she had departed, silently inspecting the eggshells. The next day, she brought more eggs for the monster. At the same time, she plays good music. The monster reached out and removed the eggs without making a sound. With a chuckle, Eliza turned off the music. The beast appeared to be angry. Eliza indicated towards music with a hand gesture. The monster and the girl listened silently. They share this sublime moment that seems to resonate within their hearts. Days go by and she would repeat this process by bringing food and playing music for the monster. She would dance and play music simultaneously. The beast was silently observing her. Every now and again the beast and the woman would exchange glances through the glass. A connection is slowly blossoming between the two. They were unaware that Dr. Robert was silently observing them from behind. He had been asked by the lab to investigate the monster. As it turned out, Dr. Robert was an international spy. He alerted his superiors to the situation as soon as he learned that the creature could speak with people. He hoped they would take over the lab experiment. However, he did not know that this situation would happen, and he let it be to observe some more. On the ground, the kneeling monster is chained and continues to get electrocuted by a man. The beast let out a terrible scream as it felt the pain. While listening, the man's excitement increased. The sadist continues with the punishment and asks if it is feeling it. Though enraged, the monster was powerless to stop it. Eliza listened to the sound of pain as the beast lay on the ground, writhing in agony. Just then, the head of security stops his torture. He discovers an eggshell from the ground and thinks to himself. Fortunately, the general arrived and he momentarily forgets about the eggshells. He was quite intrigued by this beast. However, the lab has not yet produced anything productive yet. They are getting impatient that they want to dissect the monster in the lab. Dr. Robert was agitated and strongly disagreed. However, the general was carrying 5 stars, so he could do as he pleased. Dr. Robert was not involved in the monster's disposal. Eliza was left with no choice. After giving it some serious thinking, she informs Giles that she wished to save the monster. Giles believed she was insane and found it hard to believe. Eliza was serious, though. She sees a part of herself in the monster, like they have something in common. According to Eliza, the monster does not care if she is mute and handicapped. He gets happy every time she sees her. Eliza had been waiting for someone like him for too long. Giles sighed and finally agreed to Eliza. So Eliza starts to go and visit the lab. From the lab, she discovered a little entrance that led straight to the rear unloading area. After some discussion, she and Giles devised a plan. At the same time, Dr. Robert informs his boss about this. Saving the beast would have been too dangerous. Thus, his employer was not in agreement. Rather, he handed Dr. Robert a poison tube and a bomb. They must prevent the monster from ending up in the hands of their rival, even if they are to destroy it. Dr. Robert wanted to try again to delay the autopsy, so he went to the chief of security's office the following day. However, the captain did not share his opinion. By mistake, Dr. Robert looked up and saw that there was a problem with the security camera behind him. Eliza, it turns out, made her strategy and then walked to the back door to change the security camera's viewpoint. After that, she drove a car to the lab to take away the creature. Dr. Robert was in the shadows, observing all of this. When he eventually comes out, Eliza is taken aback. He calms her down and assures her that he is here to support Eliza. Taking out the key, Dr. Robert opened the door. He also assisted Eliza in tucking the beast into the vehicle. At last, he pulled out a box and showed Eliza how to care for the creature. Dr. Robert detonated a bomb on the circuits after Eliza departed. He shot the security man with poison and opened the door for Giles. Zelda was waiting for her friend on the loading dock. When Eliza had opened her shop earlier, she had sensed something wasn't right. But she didn't anticipate Eliza being that brave. She was forced to assist her friend. Giles stopped the vehicle. The instant Eliza helped the beast stand, Giles was taken aback. After bringing the monster inside the car, they quickly left. The monster was not in a good mood when they arrived home. He didn't feel better after Eliza put him in the bathtub. She swiftly went for the salt and filled the tub after recalling what Dr. Robert had advised. At last, the creature became conscious and opened his eyes. Giles and Eliza are relieved. Back in the lab, the fact that the monster was taken enrages the general. All of its personnel are called upon to find the missing monster. Eliza, the cleaner, was summoned to the head of security's office to be questioned. They both pretended as though they did not see anything. They fooled the captain by looking at him fearlessly. However, Eliza was aware that the creature needed to be moved right away. It was also Dr. Robert's idea. He visited Eliza the next day and offered her an additional box of salts. Eliza gave Dr. Robert a quick glance before making several hand motions. She thanks Dr. Robert for all his help. After observing the weather, Eliza made the decision to let the monster enter the ring, fill the canal, and float out to sea. These were the days when Eliza and the monster got along just fine. The contact of their fingertips told each other how sincere the other was. And a great deal of stuff just happened. Eliza folded a towel and shoved it in the doorway before turning on the tap to let the water out. She then gestured strangely at the beast. The mute woman's message was understood by the beast. Then Eliza took off her clothing. Eliza and the monster were submerged under the rising water. Eliza inhaled deeply before jumping into the sea. She joins in the thrill and pleasure as she firmly holds the monster. Sensing that something was off, Giles, who was downstairs, went towards her room and noticed the water on the floor. He forcefully opened the bathroom door and observed the inebriated female and beast within. Then he closed the door silently once more. The way Eliza and the monster's bond has grown is not surprising to either of them. Eliza's life is now more colorful with this newfound love of her. She finally got the red shoe she wanted. She wears a smile when she leaves for work. Giles is left to take care of the creature after Eliza leaves for work. The monster takes the chance to exit the baths. He had an insatiable curiosity about everything. On his way outside, he spots a painting and a cat on TV. The cat was naturally aggressive as it had never seen a person like that before. In addition, The creature displayed a ferocious look before leaping at it. The living room was in a complete mess when Giles awoke. The creature took hold of the feline and gave it a nod. He knew he was in trouble when he saw Giles, so he quickly left the cat behind and ran outside. Giles was cut by his fingers as well. Giles hung on and dialed Eliza. Eliza ran back to track out the creature. Fortunately, the creature was busy with the film and has not yet gone very far. Eliza locates the monster and gently carries him home. When he spotted the cat again, the monster acted calmly this time. He bent over and gently stroked its fur. Giles summons the monster over once his wound has healed. Obediently, the creature let Giles touch his head. In addition, he reached out and caressed Giles's head. Afterwards, he placed his hand over Giles's wound and appeared quite apologetic and guilty. A few days later, the gash on Giles's hand mysteriously healed, appearing as though it wasn't ever cut. The day the monster left was approaching, as there had been several days of intense rain. His condition was becoming worse. It was decided by Eliza and the others to send him off that night. It was also time for Dr. Robert to head off this evening. His manager told him to get ready and promised to take him out. However, Dr. Robert was unaware that the head of security already knew of his intentions and was keeping a close eye on him from beneath his door. Dr. Robert left the house quickly, and the captain trailed him. At his appointment with Eliza, Dr. Robert showed up, but a few bullets were all that was in store for him. Just as Dr. Robert went down, there was another gun fired from the back of the vehicle. The captain kills Dr. Robert's boss. It pulled Dr. Robert aside and inquired about the monster's whereabouts. The captain was always under the impression that the creature had been captured by special troops. Hearing that, Dr. Robert chuckled. The man, according to him, had neither a name nor a rank. The captain quickly recalled the two cleaners' unusual behavior. The realization of the betrayal dawns on him. He quickly departs towards the employee's house and inquires where Eliza is. Even though Zelda was scared, she maintained her composure and wouldn't say anything. Ultimately, Zelda's husband was the one to divulge all the truths. He was aware of what was happening as he had heard Zelda and Eliza conversing earlier. The captain took off. Although Zelda was furious, time was of the essence. She informed Giles about it over the phone. After telling Eliza, she brought the creature straight to the pier. They've already left by the time the captain shows up. Upon noticing the message on the calendar, he walked straight to the pier. The monster and Giles are holding each other as their last farewell is getting close. Then, reluctantly, the beast turned to face Eliza. Eliza clenched her teeth and moved away when he tried to take her with him. After the captain showed up, Giles was taken out and the monster was shot. Finally, Eliza was struck by his gunshot. Everyone hit the ground before they could respond because it happened so quickly. Eliza was having trouble holding hands with the monster. Grinning, the captain observed the action, failing to notice that Giles was standing up behind him and giving him a hard blow with a stick. Next, Giles hurried to see how Eliza was doing. Eliza's eyes were closed. The monster gets up and touches the wound. To everyone's amazement, it disappeared and healed. The raging monster approaches the monster. The captain gets scared of the fate that awaits him as punishment for his wrongdoing. Before he could say anything, the monster took his final breath. After that, he returned to Giles, grabbed Eliza, and dove into the water. Zelda and Giles stood next to each other and silently witnessed them go. The two lovers share a passionate kiss. Eliza's neck sustained 3 wounds that instantaneously transformed into fish gills as she submerged herself in the water. The movie ends as the two give each other an intense hug. No one can separate them anymore, and they are free to be together. Thank you for watching. We hope you enjoy this movie. See you in our next video.